Hi everybody, it's the Body Bag. Glad to be back. A lot of exciting things have happened in the last 3 to 4 weeks. I kind of want to jump right into the fight with Nunes and Pennington. Everybody this week has been talking about how Pennington in the end of the fourth round talked to her corner and said, "I'm done, I'm finished." And her corner said, "No, just go out there, give it your all." She went out there and ended up taking a lot of unnecessary damage. I have to say she has been covering up for her team, knowing that when the fighter says, "I'm done," that's it, you throw the towel in. There's no reason after being beat up for 4 rounds to have to go back out there and have the rest of her face smashed. Her nose was broke. Her left eye was closed. She took a lot of damage real quick in that 5th round. And I just think that it was disgusting that her corner did not throw in the towel. I want to know what the fans think about that. Are we going too far with this? If she would have said anything to the ref would have stopped the fight. I think with her talking to her corner saying that she wants to quit, why are you going to put her out there when mentally she is not in the game? She is done. It's not like she's exhausted cardio-wise. She is physically beat up. That was unnecessary. She's saying that if her team didn't send her back out there, she would have regretted it. I think she needs to look at her face in the mirror and see how much she really would regret when you're down 4 rounds and physically you cannot beat this person. You're done. Game over. Well, we've all heard it this week. Chuck Liddell is coming out of retirement. Chuck Liddell is my favorite fighter of all time. At first, I wasn't a fan that he wants to come out and fight. Now, it looks like they're going to set him up with Tito Ortiz. And back in the day, Chuck Liddell beat Tito twice. And now they're going to fight a 3rd time. What's interesting is the odds came out today for this fight. And Tito is actually a 2-1 favorite. And I'm thinking because he's younger and it's been less time since he's fought. We'll see how this goes. I'm not a fan of these fighters coming out of retirement. They just don't have anything left. I think this will be one of those fights where it'll be the greatest fight of the year up until the bell rings. I think it's probably going to be a 1-round fight because I don't know how either of these guys will have any gas for the 2nd round. They've been out of the game too long. And Tito, when he was in his best shape, he would run out of gas. This will be interesting. I mean, you got the striker against the ground and pound guy. I think one of the reasons Tito might be the favorite is because that's his game, ground and pound. And, Chuck, he hasn't thrown punches in the ring in a real fight in a long time. But, this is all about the golden boy, La Hoya. It's all about him trying to get a piece of the action in MMA. He's trying to get Golden Boy MMA off the ground. He's using this fight to help launch his brand. Um, we'll see how this goes. It's a long road to get a piece of the action. Ask Bellator. They're just now getting up to some really great numbers. They're still way behind the UFC because their fighters are up and coming fighters that want to get into the UFC, or they're fighters that have left the UFC because they really can't compete at a high level uh, in the UFC. So we'll see how this all shakes out, and it'll be interesting. I don't know if this is pay-per-view or not. I mean, I don't know anybody that would really buy this fight. So more to come on this fight. Okay, I want to talk about a great card that's coming up June 6th in Chicago, UFC 225. It's the rematch against Whitaker and Romero. I stated a couple podcasts ago that I feel Romero is going to win this fight. I just think Whitaker, with all the injuries that he had, I think he's just been out too long to jump in the ring and fight a beast like Romero. I think Romero is in a good place to get this title. He showed some poise in his last fight. He's not going to, I don't think cardio is going to be an issue with him. I think Whitaker is going to be overwhelmed. I think Whitaker should have took a different fight. I just don't see it going Whitaker's way. He's just been on the sidelines way too long to jump in the ring with this beast. It's not going to be the same fight where Whitaker lost the first 2 rounds and it did a fantastic job winning round 3, 4, and 5 and taking it. It's not going to be that fight. Romero is not going to gas. He's not going to gas, and Whitaker's just been out too long. And I'm saying Romero in 3. That's what I'm saying for this fight. You know I like to call him, and that's what I'm calling. This card has a lot of great fighters on there. RDA is fighting Kobe. Originally, they were going to fight in Brazil. I think Dana White was afraid to have Kobe fight in Brazil because of all the nasty things he said about Brazil and the people in Brazil. So I figure, hey, let's just move it to Chicago. And one of the reasons, Rashad Evans, he's Chicago, and I hope this is his last fight. He's done. He's 205, 185, it doesn't matter. Rashad is done. He can't compete anymore. He can go to Bellator and maybe get some fights there, but Rashad's done. He's had a great career. He's a champion. It's just time for him to move on. There's no reason for him to continue to take damage. Holly Holmes, she's fighting at 145 on this card. There's just a whole slew of fighters on this card, and I will talk more as we get a little closer. And then we have McGregor. Well, real soon, in June, I think it's the second week of June, he goes back to court. It's the first or second week of June. He goes back to court, and we'll see what happens there. I just think he'll pay some fines, get his hands slapped, maybe have some bizarre, I don't even know what you would call it. I just don't know what they're going to do with this guy. I mean, really? It's all going to be broken down to misdemeanors. Maybe he has to pick up trash for a while in the streets of New York or something. I'm not really sure. The bottom line is he's going to be fighting in the UFC. Everybody wants to know, how's Dana White going to punish McGregor? How he's going to punish him? He's going to probably give him a fine and then give him a fight that's worth 50 times that fine or 100 times that fine. That's what's going to happen. We'll see. We got Holloway. He's going to fight Brian Ortega. And the winner of that will probably fight McGregor. I know, there's other people. Ferguson, he's in the mix there too. There's all kinds of stuff going on. Where they're talking, Nate Diaz and George St. Pierre. I think Pierre will kick the crap out of Diaz. I mean, Pierre said he would go down if everything works financially. He would go down to 155. I think the reason he would take that fight is because after he steamrolls Diaz, who I love, after he steamrolls his ass, then he knows he'll be able to compete against McGregor for a super fight, and that would probably he'll win that fight. He'll be just too strong and too big for McGregor. McGregor's left hand is not going to be the lethal weapon against somebody like GSP. And so we got all kinds of things coming down the pipeline. I want everybody to have a great Labor Day or Memorial Weekend. Sorry about that. Memorial Weekend. And I will talk to you later. This is the Body Bag, and I am out.